Okay, well I bought this thing sight unseen off the internet. The thing that caught my eye, it looked pretty good, but it's this asset tag, American National Can Company. I used to work for a can company about 1,000 years ago, and they were meticulous about maintaining their machinery. And from what I understand, it was pretty much industry-wide. And it looks pretty good. It's got some chips in the paint and stuff, but it looks like it's had pretty good care. So the only defects I found, which I knew, the online pictures showed it had a bent knob here, so got a machine remover special there. That's no surprise, but the hand wheel looks like it's still in good shape. And then somebody hooked the flex conduit here and decided it needed to be a little longer, so now it is, but I think I can actually just cut this conduit off. I might now order some new stuff. I don't want to move the table around and stuff too much yet because don't know anything about the lubrication situation. It's probably been setting quite a while. A little bit of surface rust up where the chuck was at, but not too bad. According to the book, the lubrication, the lubricator and everything is behind this little door here. So let's see what we got. Oh, there's the oil pump. I have a can of something. And this little funnel. Excuse me, to fill it up. So, I'll see what I can do with the lube system. Well, in the hydraulics on this, Reid advertised that all the hydraulics is in a drawer, slide-out drawer, so it's easy to get to. I slid the drawer out, and it had this thick foam packed around the pump there. And I only think of two reasons. One, it was really noisy, and I got tired of listening to it, or maybe for packing, but I doubt that because it looks like somebody took the time to cut this stuff out and stuff it in there. Good news is if the pump's bad, the pump is a completely separate unit with a Lovejoy coupling. And so if I have to replace the pump or work on it, I can do that. That's a lot easier than an integral pump motor combination or one with the pump where the pump's submerged down in the reservoir. So I forgot what a joy it is to have a machine tool with hydraulics. I mean, it'll be nice to have the power feeds and everything, but my experience is they're typically not house trained very well, and they always leave their mark on the floor. It looks like it's already starting to do that. That's why I put down plastic. I was kind of expecting to have some oil here. But I can take that all out and tune it back up. Yeah, and the fact that it's all self-contained, I can take it out and run it outside the machine and work on it. So that's a big plus, I think. We'll see. But yeah, it looks like just a standard by the shape of the front of that motor. I'm going to say it's a General Electric. Pretty common. Then back there's hydraulic. Down in the dark is the hydraulic control valves, pressure regulators. So I'll need to find the filters on it. I'm sure it would have filters somewhere, and go through that, but I'll get the lube oil working, and at least I'll have a manual machine for the time being until I decide I want to tear into that and get all covered with oil. I'm kind of used to that. I own a lot of tractors. Comes with the job. Okay, well that's what I found there, but I think that foam is probably telling me I bet that pump was really noisy and they got tired of listening to it. maybe they got rid of it for that reason. That would be a good thing, because then that might mean the rest of the grinder's in pretty good shape. I haven't tried the spindle. I don't have three-phase. I don't have power at all out here yet, except extension cords. So within a week, I should have power, and I'll bring out a rotary phase converter and check out the spindle. I've spun it by hand. I did bring out a grinding wheel and an adapter. Doesn't sound horribly noisy. It's not perfectly quiet. But yeah, the spindle, that'll. So we'll just check out each system one at a time. Lube oil first, probably, and then spindle. And go from there. See if it's a keeper. I sure hope so. This Reid grinder looks like it's a pretty good machine. And we'll find out. Okay. Okay, I've got two choices here. I can go out in that hot sun, drag wire and conduit through those trenches, or I can play with my new surface grinder. So I've got a few jobs lined up for it. I think electrical equipment is behind this cover. So we're going to find out. While I was waiting for this to come from Ohio, I had a week or so, did a bunch of research online, and for this particular model, the 618 HYD hydraulic, it took me quite a while to find an actual manual for this particular machine. A lot of the machines have electric drive system for the power feeds in the table reciprocation. And I finally found one, and it's handwritten across the top of it. It says Florida State. So I guess it came out of that manual came from a machine shop out of Florida State. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Got ITE. Okay. ITE is good stuff. I was an industrial electrician for a long time. And some brands of it, you got old stuff, says Earlhart and Hedgerman. I'll never forget those. They are a nightmare to work on those motor starters. ITE, I think they were bought out by Siemens. Yeah, the ITE was good stuff. Allen Bradley was real good. Square D, they were awesome back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, these are similar to the GE. You can just pop these two tabs right here, and the whole contact assembly block just comes right out. The contacts are spring loaded. You can just change them out, put it back together. You can put new the armature contacts, and then the stationary contacts, take screws out, put them in. You can rebuild one of these motor starters in just a few minutes. Some of the others, you have to pull them out, put them on the bench. They have little snap rings and pins and levers, and you never get them done. Okay, well, the manual says that lube oil pump runs every 27.7 minutes. And it looks like a little box there may have a timer on it. I want to find out if it's 120 volt. If it is, I'm going to plug it in and just let the lube oil pump run by itself for a while, pump oil through the machine. Do that before I mess around with it too much, but that's good news. Okay, ITE, those are good starters. 120 volt control. And yeah, so that's dating this machine, I would say late 60s, early 70s. I haven't found a reference for the serial numbers yet to figure out when this machine was made, but everything I'm seeing, I'm going to guess it was made probably between 68 and 72, 74, somewhere in there. Okay, well, all that looks good. Don't smell anything burnt. No, it smells like old electrical with a touch of hydraulic fluid. Okay, dokie. Okay, one of the questions we have to answer first is it wired for 480 or 240 volt? Now, I've learned over the years, don't ever trust stickers. It looks like this sticker's on top of this sticker. It is a 600 volt disconnect, so it could have been run at 480. One of the best ways and simplest ways to check without ripping the covers off all the motors is look at the control transformer. In fact, I saw this jumpered across here, and I looked real quick. It's got the two primary windings are in series, so it's 480 volt. So this was a 480 volt machine. So I'll have to swap these out, rewire the hydraulic pump and the spindle motor, because I did check that before I would consider buying it, is that, turn it that way, 230 volt, 460 volt, so it is a dual voltage motor. I saw one of these Reids online for sale. It was online forever, and the spindle motor was a single voltage 575 volt, and that is not very common. The only place I've ever seen the 600 volt systems used was actually in large power plants. It was pretty common, but in the industrial world, pretty rare. So that's one thing to look for, is make sure if you get one, for most smaller shops, you want dual voltage and avoid 575. You probably can't even find a transformer, at least a reasonable cost, to step the voltage up. So, okay, no great surprises there. Electrical seems pretty good. Yeah, I don't see an easy way to plug in or break into the circuit for the lube oil pump. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this lead from the control transformer, and then just feed 120 volts in between here and here, and power up the control circuit. Then I can operate the motor starters, the lube oil pump will run, the control system will run. There won't be any power on the motors, so I don't have to worry about burning those out, single phasing them. But I do want to make sure you disconnect this, because if you backfeed this transformer, it's going to generate 480 volts and put that back into the line, and you'll single phase the motors and blow fuses. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that, is I'm just going to heat up the control circuit side and get that lube oil pump running. Probably the first thing I'm going to do. Wired in 110 volts to the secondary side of the transformer for the control circuit. I did disconnect the transformer. As I said, I don't want to generate 480 volts feeding backward. So that's disconnected, and I did hook up the most important wire of all, the green wire and ground wire. Don't forget to do that. Okay, let's see. Hydraulic start. Okay, that's the first contactor. So that's working. Ooh, I hear something running. That's the spindle start. Ah, lube oil pump's running. Doesn't look like it has any lube oil in it. I better shut that off and fill it up. It came with this cute little funnel. Isn't that neat? I washed it out with brake cleaner. And this says it's pure oil 325 Whey Lube. Stevenson Oil Company. Huh. You know, who knows? Let's see what it smells like. And it didn't smell bad. Looks like it's still liquid. Put a little in here and see. Yeah, it's nice and clear. Oop. Made a mess. Don't see anything on the sight glass yet. There it comes, coming up the sight glass now. We'll fill it about it's too thick, making a mess. That's enough. Let's get some paper towels and clean that up. Let's just leave some towel in there to soak that up. Okay. Little cap back. I think this is a motor operated timer, and that's what I hear running. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a flow control. It doesn't appear to be a way to operate it manually. We'll plug the power back in and let it run for a while. Okay. They're running. I don't know if that's just the timer making noise or if it's actually pumping oil. Sounded like it picked up speed. I have a feeling I'll be taking that apart and lubricating the motor and the gears in it. I want to get this machine back up to 100%. Okay, I just had to look. I took the drip cover off the end of the carriage there. I wanted to look at the ways. See, we have two big elephants in the room with the surface grinder. One is the condition of the ways, the other is the spindle. Well, so I climb under here and I took the guard off and I run the table out and I look and those scrapings are just sparkly bright and even and uniform. It looks like this machine was never used. And I know it was, but I have never owned an old machine tool, except maybe my lathe, the hardened steel lathes that ever had surfaces that looked that good. Well, that is a pleasant surprise.